Hi, I'm Alicia and welcome to my channel Papercraft Secrets. Today I'm sharing a beautiful Easter album that I have created. It's a really cute little project that allows you to do a lot of clustering of embellishments. There's a little shaker window in the front cover. I had a lovely time decorating all the pages and using the beautiful elements and the paper die cuts and the fussy cutting images to assemble all of these little pictures, these little spring pictures or these Easter pictures together onto each of the pages. And it was a really enjoyable project. The Mintay papers make creating this project so easy. So let's take a look at the products that I did use to create this project. First of all, I used the Spring is Here 60 paper die cuts by Mintay, the 27 paper elements by Mintay, the 6x8 add-on paper pack for Spring is Here, and the Rose Tag album as my base. I also used the Mintay Creative Chalk Paint in white and in Rosebud. So I was really tossing up as to what products to use for my project. Should I use the 12 by 12? I wanted to use this really beautiful Mintay Chippies album base. I thought this had a lovely spring feel to it, with the flowers on the front and the hole punched in the middle. I thought this would make a really beautiful spring or Easter album. So I was tossing up as to what papers I should use for this album. Obviously the 6x8 would fit perfectly for it, or should I go for a fancier page with the 12 by 12, but then I'd have to destroy a big 12 by 12 page. So I ended up going with the 6x8 because I just find the 6x8 so easy to use. It's just such a great size, and the papers are so pretty and they're great background pages. So I ended up going with this beautiful 6x8 Spring is Here paper pad. And it made the creation of this project so easy. It was just a matter of simply choosing my papers. I just drew around the edge of the album page, and then I could easily cut the album out. So I went through and I chose enough paper for all of the pages in my album from the lovely 6x8 paper pad, and I just used some glue to glue them all on. Before gluing, I did punch a hole into the top of each of my papers so that I could put a ring through the album at the end. And then I went through and I glued each of those pages onto the front and back of my album pages. If I needed to, I could trim the excess with a pair of scissors. And so I continued with this, gluing until all of the pages of my album were ready. For my front cover, I wanted to use some Mintay chalk paint, my favorite color, Rosebud. So here I am just painting the front cover with the chalkboard paint by Mintay. And then I waited for that to dry. I decided to make the front cover of my album into a shaker element. To do that, I used some acetate and I glued it onto the back of the front cover of my album. And then I just trimmed around the acetate and left that to dry. Once that was dry, I used some mounting tape on the edges of the album to create a pocket for my glitter and sprinkles. Making sure that all of the edges touch together. I peeled off the backing of the tape and then I sprinkled some glitter into the front cover. I used quite a lot of sprinkles because it was a big area. Once I was happy, I placed the back onto the front cover and then I pressed it between some books on a bookshelf to keep it very flat and straight. While I was doing that, while I was waiting for that to straighten out and adhere and all of those things, I went through the Mintay Paper's paper elements and had a little think about how I would decorate each of my album cover pages. I wanted to decorate them all at once so that it would be like a bulk album page creation, because I like to do my projects in bulk. So I laid out all of the album pages on my table, and this way I can think about the design for each of the album pages. I find the tags very, very easy to use in the paper elements and also the circles. So I decided to go with a tag and circle combination for the base of my pages. I decided to add a doily to each of my pages to create a shabby chic feel to my Easter album. So I layered each circle on top of the doily, and then I layered the tag on top of the circle, and that was how I designed the base of each of my pages. I made sure that the circles were on the left-hand side of the page and the tags were on the right-hand side of the page. I had previously fussy cut some of the elements from the 6x8 paper pad while I was out and about watching my boys do their activities. And so I spread all of these out on my table in front of me, and then I began adding them into my design. I also used some cheesecloth and some pink thread to add some dimension to my projects. I started with some larger fussy cut images, so you can see one large image here, usually a floral image. I love floral images, so I picked all of the floral images first that were the largest from the fussy cutting pages of the 6x8, and I'm adding them onto the circle on top of some cheesecloth and pink thread. So that is my first part of the decoration or the embellishment of my pages. I also added a pink ribbon to the top of every tag. And then I proceeded to go through and added some little elements, some little bunny rabbits, some little lambs, some butterflies. I also used the paper die cuts because I was running out of elements from the fussy cutting that I had done. Even though I had so many, I still needed some more varieties. Then I just kept layering the elements onto the page, the paper die cuts and the fussy cut imaging, trying to create depth with different depths, so using some little dots to make some images stand up higher than others. And then I went through and I found some little flowers that I thought were cute that could be added in to add to the spring theme. I had a cute little packet of pink flowers which I used, and then a variety of other little flowers that matched in as well. I also used a little bit more pink thread, and sometimes I added in a leaf die cut. I added a little bit of lace at the bottom of every tag as well. And then once I was happy with my design, I sprinkled each of the designs with some white Mintay chalk paint to finish it off. And I also added a little bit of glitter to some of the petals of the flowers and the wings of the butterfly. For my front cover, I decorated in a very similar way. I started with a large paper die cut and some cheesecloth, and then I layered my other paper die cuts on top. I chose this cute little chicken in a basket die cut as my centerpiece, and then I embellished around it, put another little flower in with a little bit of a leaf die cut, lots of pink thread, and then some little floral clusters. I had such a great time creating this project, and I was really happy with the way it turned out. It's really a lovely piece for springtime and for Easter. Lovely to put on display or lovely to give as a gift to somebody for Easter, and just a really fun creative project using the beautiful Mintay papers, products, the tag album, and the beautiful papers and the collectibles and the paper die cuts and the elements. So I hope that you enjoyed my project today. I hope that it inspires you to create something for Easter or something for spring. If you like this video, please consider subscribing to my YouTube channel. There are so many beautiful crafty videos on here. Or come and join me in the Papercraft Secrets classroom on Patreon. Thank you so much for watching and have a lovely crafty day.